is in Chicago. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show, Nicole.
Hi, how are you?
Better than I deserve. How can I help?
Yes, I am 38. I live with my mom, and I just wanted to know, I know you hate the boomerang or adult kids living at home. I do pay half the rent, half the utilities. I just wanted to know, should I keep doing that until my school loans are paid, or should I move out, which would take me probably double the time?
What do you make?
I make $55,000 a year, and my school loans are $63,000 right now. But by the end of the year, it'd be $57,000 left. And I just read your book, The Complete Guide to Money.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing everything wrong, and so I'm trying to fix it. I do have an emergency fund. I paid off all my credit cards. I cut them up. I'm only trying to pay cash. I'm doing the monthly budget. And if I continue to stay here, I could pay off the student loan in a year and a half,
Mm-hmm.
no longer than 2.
Mm-hmm.
But I am also helping my mom, like I said, pay the utilities. I haven't lived here. I did leave on my own once, live with my ex. It didn't work out, so I came back home. I did the boomerang thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to know, my plan is I never had a plan before, and now I do. And my plan is if I can stay here I give myself a 3-year plan, a year and a half to pay off my school loans, and then a year and a half to save up for a home.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Or
what do you do for a living?
Finance.
Finance. Okay. In what
Mm-hmm.
regard? What kind of finance?
Accounts payable.
Oh, okay. Cool. Good. All right. Well,
And I have been moving up in my field as well.
Good for you. Well, what I love about your whole story is that you now have a plan and that you're executing a plan. And so you got to have enough of the story to know, how to look at your situation. So the way I answer questions on the show is, what would I do if I woke up in your shoes, or in your case, I've got my oldest daughter's just slightly younger than you. If it was her I was talking to, what would I tell her? Okay? And so that's a combination, in other words, of financial advice and dad advice. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then you can decide whether you want to take any of it or not, because you're a grown woman. You get to decide these things. Okay? But so my concern is that I think you'll have a high overall, and I think you would agree with this, 5 to 10 years from today, 5 to 10 years out, where you're still living there, that would indicate that emotionally you had some work to do. You need to get out and be a grown person. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. So that's not your goal, and that's not your plan, but that's the overarching concern in this, is that you get out there and go be who God made you to be. And you square your shoulders, and you fight the rain and the sleet and the snow, and you put your face in the sunshine, and you have this wonderful thing called a life. And that's what I want you to do as your friend. Okay? Now, can we delay that shortly in order to hit some financial goals and make when you step out a little bit better? Yeah, that's fine. Personally, I'd probably land somewhere a little bit soon. I'd probably land a little bit. I'd make a couple of modifications to your plan. Modification number 1 is I would pick up some extra jobs doing bookkeeping on the side, and let's increase your income $10,000 or $15,000, and let's speed this up. Modification number 2 is I would not stay there until you got a down payment. I might stay there till you got the student loan done. So 18 months. 18 months. Let's be done. 12 to 18 months. Let's be out of there. Get you an apartment, and then save up for a house while you're in an apartment, and get your life back going again. And you've got this other relationship behind you emotionally. You're moving on to the next chapter. The page turns in the book of life for Nicole, and you move on to the next thing. And Mom's home was a blessing in the interim. You were a blessing to her because you picked up some of her costs. It was a safe place emotionally to sit while you healed and knocked out some of these financial things. You discovered planning for your finances while you were there. So that's a good thing that happened while you were there. So I think all of that sounds great. But I'm probably going to say 12 to 18 months, you're debt-free because you're working an extra job and you're out of there. Does that make sense?
Yes. And one quick question after that. Sorry.
Sure, no trouble.
So right after the student loan is paid off, should I save up the 3 to 6 months emergency fund prior to me moving out
I don't
or
care.
after I move?
I don't care. You need something.
Okay.
Obviously, you got to have something
Okay.
when you move out, but you don't have to be all the way out. And you
Got
don't
it.
even have to be all the way out of the student loan before you move. I don't care. But you're just wanting
Okay.
you're wanting to use the financial traction of no rent to speed this up.
Correct.
And I'm giving you a nod and saying, okay, cool, but let's do it fast.
Okay.
And so anywhere in there, I mean, if you still had $5,000 worth of student loan debt and you save up a couple grand to cover some of your deposits and you go ahead and move out because it works out better to do that because you're making killer money on the side, all of a sudden this bookkeeping thing you started on the side I told you about took off, or you may want to go early. I don't care. I'm not saying you got to stay there. You're just saying you'd like to stay there to speed this up. And I'm going to stay there the least time that we can accomplish that goal, in air quotes, if I'm in your shoes. Because I think what's going to happen is you're going to have a different sense of dignity when you get power over this money thing that you've not had, a different sense of power in your life that you've not had, because you get power over money, you get power over a lot of stuff. And instead of it wagging you, you get to wag it. And that's a different thing. And so I'm excited about where you are. Very, very well done. It's an honor to speak with you. Thanks for calling in.